Alright, peace, beautiful souls. Welcome to another video brought to you by Celestial Alignments. My name is Saleh and I'll be your host on this channel today. Now check this out. We are going to talk about alchemy. It's important that we all learn to demystify that word, witchcraft, and despookify it, because witchcraft is happening everywhere. And in my opinion, one of the most powerful witchcrafts out there is the news, right? The news.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trying to be responsible one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the community use the platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Now, mind you, news stands for north, east, west, south, right? The news of the world. That's why I wear a compass. I wear a compass with the B on it. The symbology is deep. But anyways, now if you break down the word witchcraft, it's really, so from my awareness, the word witch derives from an old English word that can translate into wise. So witchcraft is a wise man or wise woman's craft, right? And when we are practicing witchcraft, we are essentially tapping into the four elements: water, fire, earth, and air, to attain or tap into the fifth element. Air is nothing more or less but our thoughts and our abilities to associate with each other, our ability to think, our ability to logicalize, rationalize, and like I said, communicate. Anytime you're in that energy of intangible ismness of your thoughts and your minds, and let's say you're idealizing things, you're into idealism, that's like the air element. Fire is all about that vision, all about that inspiration, you know what I mean? So anytime you're seeing something, air are our thoughts. Fire expresses through the visions that we have, Fire expresses through energy, also through enthusiasm, through zeal, etc. And then when it comes to water, water is like our emotions, our emotions and our sensitiveness. So in this world that we live in, there's this thing about men being too sensitive, and but the problem with that though is it's not correct, it's not right, you know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, if a man is crying, then he's being too sensitive. But the thing about that is we're talking about alchemy right now, right? And we're talking about transmutation. It's like tears are one of the greatest forms of transmutation. And with that being said, I also want to bring up astrologically where we are right now. Right now, the sun is transiting through Cancer. Specifically, it's in the second decan of Cancer, which is the decan which in the sky is represented by the Hydra constellation, which is the monster that Hercules had to fight. And when Hercules was fighting Hydra, every time he would cut off one head, two would come in that place. Now, it was only when he had the assistance of I forget the guy's name. But yeah, it was only once he had the assistance of that individual that he was able to finally defeat the Hydra monster. Now let me just break down the symbology within this story real quick. As I already broke down, water is universal for emotion. So anytime there's a story about sea creatures, right, or sea monster, anytime there's like an allegory or a story that involves sea creatures and like sea monsters specifically, it's pointing towards something emotional. And if it's sea monsters, then obviously it's pointing towards traumatic emotions, painful emotions. So as we are transiting to this Hydra constellation, the second decan of Cancer, which is also the decan of Revelation, more and more things are going to be revealed to us, but it's like an internal, because the Cancer is ruled by the moon, so it's more of an internal revelation. And also say this: Cancer is the family sign, right? It's the domestic sign. So a lot of us may be going through emotions, and the emotions that we're going through has one way or another has to do with Cancerian energy, which is family, domestic, or private life, etc. And we'll just start to see things from certain angles that we may not have been able to see previously. Like certain traumas and pains may pop their head back up, right, etc. Now, I was yesterday. So yesterday was actually Saturday. So on Saturdays, I fast. And that is a big, major piece of alchemy right there. Piece of my alchemy right there. But alchemy in general. Because Saturday is Saturn day, right? And Saturn alchemically expresses to the metal lead. Now, I won't go way too deep into this video about alchemy and all that. This is kind of just a general breakdown and explanation of my experiences with alchemy. So I'll make a video in the future where I'll break down the technical aspects of alchemy, the 7 metals, you know, the techniques, like the furnace in alchemy, right? When I say techniques, I'm really talking about the furnace and turning the furnace up and turning the furnace down, etc. You know what I mean? So yeah, alchemy manifests the same on all different planes. On the physical, spiritual, mental plane, if you're an alchemist, you'll need a furnace, you'll need material, so the metals to work with, etc. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll get deeper into all of that practical knowledge later, you know what I mean, later. But like I always remind you guys, you know, I do offer different services, and I'll pull them up right now so you guys know what's up. And so yeah, you don't have to wait. You can message me, and yeah, I got you. We can start working together and I can teach you alchemy. Anyways, look, most of my videos, I don't want to say scripted, but I write notes because I know as a Gemini I can go scattered, you know what I mean? So most of my videos are like structured, but this is just a freestyle, a free flow. Like I was actually just meditating out here, like just pondering about certain things, right? And I was like, you know what, these are some dope ass thoughts I'm having. I should probably record these thoughts. So that's what I'm doing right now. So yesterday I was meditating, right? Sorry, I was fasting. It was a water fast though. I was drinking nothing but water, just water. And then at 12 p.m. I went outside and I sat out in the sun for I think it was about 40 minutes. Mind you, I live in Arizona, Phoenix at that. So it's really hot out here, you know what I mean? But I also say this, my sun in my birth chart is in the 10th house, you know what I mean? So my sun is exalted, and then I'm a Gemini, and then I have my sun, my moon, my Mercury, my Jupiter, my Saturn, and also my midheaven in Gemini. So I have a lot of Gemini energy. Then my rising sign is in Virgo. So in reality, not general, in reality I have a lot of Mercurial energy, and Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, right? So yeah, that's why like my ability to deal with the sun and my ability to take energy from the sun and transform it and transmute it is there, you know, for sure. So but yeah, you know, so I sat out in the sun and I sweated a lot, and I realized like Cancer is water. Cancer season is a water, like when we were dealing with Cancer, we're dealing with water. And the thing about sweat is it's a very, I feel, Cancerian way of water happening, because in a way when you are sweating it's so then it can evaporate, right? And Cancer is cardinal water. Cardinal are the most active of the signs. So cardinal is gas, so Cancer is steam, right? Just as Scorpio is solidified ice, crystallized water, my bad, not solidified ice, crystallized water, which is like water that has received enough pressure to compress itself. To say that Scorpio is ice is a major understatement. I don't even know how to say that word right now. I'm probably saying it right. It's a major understatement. I think that's how you say it. It's a major understatement in the sense that, yeah, you can learn a lot about the energy of Scorpio through observing how ice operates and things like that. But you'll understand a lot more about the energy of Scorpio by realizing it's actually water that has been condensed through major pressure, and now it has been crystallized. It's a deep thing. Never mind. I was gonna say Future is a Scorpio, but Future, man, I had to get into this. Okay. So Future is a Scorpio. If you follow Future's like story, you'll notice that at the end of the day, he was picked. You know what I mean? But you'll notice that he went through a lot of pain. He came from like just he's a Scorpio. I'll say that. You know, that's enough. I mean, unless you don't understand astrology. He went through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. You know, he grew up in major poverty. He sold hella drugs. In Alchemy, I also want to say this. When you're working with metals in general, when you pull a metal out of the earth, typically it is radioactive and toxic, and you have to cleanse it. And the reason why I bring that up is to say that you can pull metals from anywhere and everywhere. I pulled some iron last night through the study of like future, like I watched a documentary about Future, you know what I mean? And Mars is in Taurus right now. This shirt that I have on, damn, tell me why I was just sitting here and I was so like inflamed in my passions, and then I looked and I realized that this is like a physical replication of what's happening in the sky right now with Mars. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, if I'm coming off a little more aggressive, a little more passionate than usual, understand things do influence us. Colors influence us. The stuff you wear influences you. All of that. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, you know, and after okay, after having cultivated that iron through observing Future's story and everything like that, you know, now I kind of have this mental awareness that it's really about persistence and consistency and working, right? Like laboring, which is Saturnian and Martian, you know what I mean? But yeah, what's his name? Future? Man, that dude is crazy. He's a demon. Like, I was hesitant in saying it like that, but let me break it down like this. Look, Future is a Scorpio. Scorpio has connections to Pluto. Scorpio has connections to Pluto, Mars, and Mercury. Mercury is the esoteric associate to Scorpio. So a lot of people don't know how or why it's associated to Scorpio, Mercury and Scorpio. Why Mercury is associated to Scorpio, but that's another story for another time. So, what's his name? Future, right? And even his name, Future, is a deep ass fucking psyop. Future's greatest influence in the beginning of his career was, of course, his cousin and all this other stuff, but was more relevant in regards to symbolism was a woman by the name of Pluto, right? And I don't even want to talk about Mars, I don't even want to talk about Mars through Future right now. That's disgusting to me right now. So let's not even talk about that. But my point was, you can extract these metals from anywhere. So because because Future is a Scorpio, he's gonna play out Martian energies, which if I am able to observe correctly, I can siphon. And then that's not me stealing his energy or anything like that per se. That's me replicating it. Me replicating Mars through how this Mars descendant is portraying it. But anyways, alchemy. So, what have we talked about so far? I've talked about the three elements, and I didn't talk about Earth. Earth is the physical playing out of the condensation of water, air, and fire. So it's like once fire, air, and water condense, they express through earth, which is the ritual of the mind. Meaning, if your mind is like flunked out, then the earth of it is going to be. And shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man, because I got that term from him, flunked out. You know, I gotta shout him out for sure. So yeah, okay. So it's like once that energy expresses, you know what I mean? Once that energy once the mind expresses through the body, that's like the earth. That's what the earth is, right? And earth, in a more general perspective, is practicality, is routine and patterns, groundedness, obviously, right? Things like money, tangibility, and yeah, major practicality energy. That's what earth is, right? And we need to learn to cultivate all four of these elements. That's a major aspect and part of alchemy as well. Learning to cultivate these four elements so we can access and tap into the fifth element. Also, as I was saying previously though, I was fasting yesterday. Yeah, I was fasting yesterday, right? And then I went and I sat on the sun for like 40, I think maybe 40, 30 minutes, listening to music, high vibrational music, you know. Shout out to Lizzie Jeff, I like her music. Everyone else too. So I was, yeah, and I don't know, it was just amazing. It was nice, know what I mean? But then after all of that sweat, because it's like when you're sweating, it's like a cleansing, it's like a baptism. That's how I think of it. It's like a baptism through cancer. And I know there's some deep symbology to that, because I think cancer might be associated with John the Baptist. No, I think cancer is associated with Leo. My bad. I think John the Baptist is associated with Leo. I forget. But anyways, yeah, it was potent. It was powerful. You know what I mean? Cleansing through your own sweat. And I drink a lot of water. Obviously, I was water fasting yesterday, so yeah. But what had happened was later I ended up breaking down, like crying, you know. But this was like later. This was like around like this was in the middle of the day. And so I was shedding tears and I was crying. The thing about these tears that I was shedding, and it was crazy, because it was like, it wasn't tears of pain, it was more tears of like joy. But yeah, like I was saying, so as I was saying, you know, it wasn't really tears of pain, but it was more tears that were inspired by love, you know, an expression of love. I feel that like someone was expressing towards me, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's very, the reason why I broke down into tears and started crying, it's because there's really no love in this world like that, you know. So it just, yeah, anyways, so it was a mix of emotions, you know, like me receiving love and me having my cancer, my Cancer the sign, right? My 11th house in this Cancer sign. Cancer is the sign of family, you know what I mean? And the simplest breakdown of that is like, when you have your Cancer in the 11th house, it's really in my 10th house. 10th, 11th house, know what I mean? Then what's gonna happen is you're gonna find family outside of the house. You're gonna find family and strangers, things like that, know what I mean? So it's like the most strangest people will treat you like family the most type energy with Cancer in the 10th, 11th house. And then with me having Cancer in the 10th, 11th house, the polar to the 10th house, the midheaven, which is the IC, my IC, which would be in Capricorn. And yeah, no, that's not good. So Capricorn is the opposite sign to Cancer. Capricorn doesn't deal with familial energies like that. A lot of Capricorns grow up in situations where, okay, let's say you had like material comforts and security, but maybe your family failed to support you emotionally type shit. Like a lot of the times Capricorns just have this origin story where it's like they were lacking the Cancer energy, and then Cancer is vice versa. Cancer is like the Capricorn energy. So you got to learn to find equilibrium with your polar opposite sign. Me as a Gemini, I have to learn to find equilibrium with Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is my earth sign, because earth, like the sphere earth itself, is actually a part of astrology, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's part of astrology that, yeah, you know, a few astrologers talk about me being one of them. So yeah, you know, ultimately it was the acknowledgement and realization of, because Saturn, which is what my 4th house being in Capricorn is, like, okay, with my 4th house being in Capricorn, Saturn is ruling my 4th house, but Saturn is the planet of poverty, meaning that it expresses through poverty. Whatever Saturn is touching, there's going to be a shortage of that energy. There's going to be a lack of that energy. There's not going to be enough or any. So for me, like 4th house energies, family, domestic life, you know, caring, like I am a very caring and considerate person, but being cared for, all of that, you know, it's not completely really there. But I lean a lot towards my Jupiterian and Mercurian energy, but more so my Jupiterian, because, you know, Mercury is my ruling planet, but Jupiter is my guiding planet, you know what I mean? So those are like, so tin and Mercury, right? The metals, tin and Mercury, those are metals that I have a lot of access to naturally. I have an excess, like I have a lot. I was trying to use the word excess, it's like too much, you know what I mean? So those are the metals that I need to take seriously in building with, because I already have a lot of that in my chart. So yeah, working with me to decipher and break down your birth chart is a deep thing, you know what I mean? I'm not because it's like, okay, when I was 14 years old, I got shot in my chest. You know, I always like to show the scars, of course, because, you know what I mean? But yeah, okay. So, right there is when the bullet went through, and then it exited through my lower back. So it almost hit my spine. And the story of... So yeah, but the reason why I bring that up is because I died. I had an experience out of body on the other side. They wrote down my death time. They told my mother I didn't make it. All documented, no BS. And I was supposed to be dead, but I had an experience on the other side, given a choice to come back, because I'm here to, like, in a sense, bring something to this earth from the 5th dimension. We all are here with the purpose, with the reason. You know, I'm not saying what I'm not saying, and I'm not gonna say what I'm not saying. Who cares? You know what I mean? I don't need to explain myself with certain things. So yeah, you know. So 9th house. I have a stellium in my 9th house, right? All the planets that are in Gemini, except for my sun, which is in the 10th house, are in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of long journeys, distant journeys. So the fact that I went to the other world in my lifetime, like, okay, on this earth, like, I died and then went to a whole different freaking plane of existence and then came back again, that's like, you can look at it, you can see it in my chart with me having the 9th house in stellium, that these are experiences that I would be a conduit for. And that's all it is. Astrology is just what you have the ability to, like, the possibilities, you know what I mean? Astrology doesn't tell you about the eye, which drives these energies. The eye that drives these energies, if it's in a quote-unquote awakened eye, if it's an eye that realizes and understands what and who it is, then it's like, this is a deep concept that I gotta break down now, okay? Because I feel like I can't just lightly talk about this. It's like there's people that are unawake, and their birth chart, the way that their birth chart influences them in their life is kind of like a wind chime, right? Every time the wind blows, it makes a noise, it makes a sound, right? So their birth chart is kind of very much subjected to the stimulus and the forces of nature, right? And their Mercury gets activated when they're around a certain person, or you know, their Mars gets activated, or whatever. Like, it's all just random stuff happening. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like a wind chime in the wind. But then the people who have awoken to who it is that they are, they're like, they have awakened the Christ within them, and through the Christ within them, they now are like utilizing their birth chart. But rather than the birth chart playing as a wind chime, it's playing like a sophisticated flute, or like a chilium, you know, a harp, not a chilium, a harp, right? So we are utilizing the energies of our birth charts to cultivate and create wonderful sounds, whereas those people who haven't awoken and don't even know what the birth chart is, they're just going through life, being influenced and swayed, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you can go through life without knowing your birth chart, and you'll get places for sure. But what I'm saying is, you'll just get further if you know it. So why not know it? But anyways, yeah, I think I've talked enough about alchemy, because this was a video that originally I was going to create about like astrology and about the current planetary transits that are happening. But then, because all my devices are dead right now except for my camera, I decided that I just record and freestyle. You know what I mean? I mean, my speaker is still alive too, but you guys, this speaker is so dope. And what's even cooler is I have two of these, and you can connect these two, right? The other one, I don't know where it's at. I think my friend has it. I think he has it right now, but so I can connect these two speakers, right? Boom. And then I love music. Things I get excited about. Anyways, I feel like I've shared enough, you know, because I do gotta go. Take this knowledge and apply it, right? Allow this knowledge to resonate with you as it does. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.